Meghan Markle's sister, Samantha Markle, is not backing down. She has filed an appeal, and we have her attorney, Peter Ticktin, here to react.
How you doing, Andy? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. So happy to have you back as we go through this new filing, and so excited to see that the case is still going. I guess before we even break this down, the case is still going. Meghan hoped to throw this all out, but it's not going that way, is it?
No. I mean, she may have one judge that thinks that it should go her way, but there are three other judges that are going to need to decide this case.
Well, I went through and I was breezing through, and guys, here it is. We have the filing here, and he provided. Thanks for making time. I guess you did this earlier this week, but we've. Peter's a busy guy. I wanted to report it directly with him, so you guys can get more insight from him directly. But look, I read through this. I think you absolutely have a case. I know there's people out there saying, "Oh, get over it, Samantha, move on." But no, and I've told you this since day one when I was in the courtroom with you. I was a little hesitant in the beginning, but as I heard the debate, the fight here, she absolutely defamed her. She absolutely caused damages through Christopher Boozy, which is all produced by Meghan, so therefore said by Meghan as well. What's really interesting about the argument here in the appeal is that you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, if my summary is right so the fans get it, and I want you to break it down a little bit more in detail, but the judge was pretty much taking these quotes sort of as singular quotes. Each segment is a sort of own thing, and the reality check is that no, all of this in tandem together as it was positioned in the interview, and especially as it was provided in the Netflix series, which we have right here, these statements by Boozy. You even later do a full transcript of sort of how it all plays together. The connection of those lines together, the way they're said, is in fact defamatory. And the judge seemed to think, well, no, we go through each one separately, and this one's not, and this one's not. But the way they're stitched together through what Boozy says, how Harry sort of responds, how Meghan responds, it's all defamatory and pointing towards Samantha in this weird, attempted, subtle way. But the reality check is, to the casual viewers watching it, they're going to think Samantha Markle is this abhorrent person who led this group of attackers online to disparage, was a liar, was bitter, was just trying to sell a book, but is just a liar. All this comes into play, and that's pretty much the argument here. Am I wrong in that sort of overall quickest idiot's guide summary of things, Peter?
Yeah, exactly. So, for instance, let's say take the very first one of the quotes that are part of the suit, where Meghan said to Oprah,
right here,
explaining, quote, "You don't know me. Betrayal comes from someone that you have a relationship with." So she's basically implying that she doesn't know Samantha, therefore Samantha doesn't know her. Therefore, who is Samantha to say anything about her? This is somebody just pretending to be her sister, and maybe by blood she is half her sister, but she's just an opportunist. She's trying to cash in on the fact that Meghan met a prince and was dating Prince Harry, and this is her low-life way of doing it. So
yeah, and then continues to literally say, "Yeah, I never knew her. She never was there. I don't know what the hell she's talking about." Completely knocking it all out.
Right. So you're talking about in a suit for defamation. You have to prove that damaged Samantha's reputation. So how does it do that? You don't know me. Betrayal comes from somebody that you have a relationship with. So I don't have a relationship with her. How is that damaging Samantha's reputation? I mean, it's just saying she doesn't know her. But if you look at what's really being said, is that this is a fraudulent opportunist. This is somebody who doesn't know me, who's writing about me as though she knows me, so she's a liar. But I mean, some of the quotes get far, far worse than that. That's probably the most innocuous one of the whole batch. But then when you get into what Boozy was saying, he basically called her a racist.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about specifically here the small group accounts to create this chaos online. We looked at everything from MAGA to QAnon, COVID. What's interesting is that it showed there were a handful of accounts that weren't just bots, but people who were highly coordinated, deeply networked to responsible propaganda. It goes in, it labels all this, and then says Samantha Markle was part of this group, was putting a lot of this disinformation out, like specifically pointing her out. No one else talking about how then her account suspended. All of this is put into a longer segment that is absolutely relevant in how it's all packaged because it was produced by Meghan Markle. She had every way to adjust that, say that's not true, take that out of the edit. No, I don't want to risk saying that about her because it's false. But she didn't, right? This is all relevant.
She is the one who published the information. That's where she's guilty. We didn't have an ability to get her on the book that she did about finding freedom, but because she didn't publish that book.
Right.
But she did publish the Netflix series.
For those that don't know, she was caught in court saying I had nothing to do with Omid Scobie and what that book was doing.
Right. Well,
but then she was forced under oath. Well, actually, yeah, I guess a little bit. I gave them something, and she had to apologize to the courts, correct? Because she was found that she did lie and she was involved. In this case, now she's really caught because she's a producer and published the documentary herself.
Yeah, it's the old saying, how do you know that Meghan Markle is lying? And the answer is her lips are moving.
Sadly, that's becoming quite truthful. In fact, I want to talk while I have you. I want to talk about that because I think there's a connection here and an irony of Meghan Markle out there now revisiting all these suicidal thoughts and victimhood while protecting parents, while also completely crapping on and completely disowning and ignoring her own family. We'll get there in a second, but I want to sort of reiterate and finalize this appeal. What else? Anything else that's worthy of sort of alerting the fans so they can be prepared for this? How do you feel like your odds are? Do you think this judge is the other judge will see this more clearly?
Well, it's not the other judge, it's the other three judges. It's a panel of three, and these are judges that have risen in the ranks. They are in a court above the trial court in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. So the only judges that are higher in the system than these judges are the 9 judges of the Supreme Court of the United States. That's how it works. And so,
do you like your odds with them?
It depends. I mean, there are some there. Look, I don't want to accuse Judge Honeywell of being political because, frankly, I don't know that she is or that she isn't. I know she's an Obama appointee, and there are judges that do have some kind of a hatred for the right and the love for the left, and Meghan is part of the left. She's without getting into politics, just looking at the Aspen Institute, for instance, Harry's part of that. And that makes him one of 50 people that decide what is to be considered to be misinformation on the internet. So, the way the judges sometimes react is because they're convinced in the first place simply by their dislike for a lawyer or dislike for a platform or a position, and they can't help it. They're people, and people that have leanings. They don't even necessarily realize how much they affect their decisions. But
yeah, no, I agree. I do think though both sides are starting to wake up to these bozos, but you're not wrong in that sadly the political leanings can make a difference. So you're going in confident, it's still up in the air, but we have a strong case, it seems, and hopefully these judges around will actually take it more seriously and not just base it on segment per segment, because the connection of these segments and lines and words together is why it's so much more defamatory.
Right. And I got to tell you, I have a lot of faith in the 11th Circuit. The judges there are pretty decent judges. And I think they're going to look at this thing and they're going to make some decisions in law that, this case itself may actually help develop the law as to defamation and what can be alleged and what is not going to be alleged.
I hope so. And again, this is all more proof, again, of the sort of manipulation I feel like these two have done, particularly Meghan. She's been very manipulative in her rise to fame and rewriting of history and what she's done to her family. So while I have you, I did want to get your reaction because they now did a joint interview together. There's been a lot of spotlight on this of her opening up and revisiting her suicidal tendencies. And all of this was all on the guys in the back of a parents network support group where they're trying to help parents and online safety. I got to be honest, Peter, I've done a lot of videos trying to figure out what the hell that actually means and what they're actually doing in this charity and how they're actually going to help parents, because yeah, online is dangerous. There's a lot of things, but it's very a hodgepodge of things. Beyond that, what's fascinating to me is this irony of her trying to help these parents and online abuse. Meanwhile, she refuses to talk to her own father, Samantha's father as well. Do you see that same irony, and do you have any thoughts on sort of how bizarre it is that she's out there helping parents network while she's now disowned both sets of her actual parent, her father and her husband's parents?
In that recent interview with Meghan Markle, it's interesting that, she has these young children. Some people doubt that they exist. Some people say they do. But it's interesting that she doesn't really hang out with her children. You never see them together, really. I shouldn't say never, but hardly ever see anything about them. And when she talked about what was going on and how she got distracted when she was a new mother, she said that she got distracted from all the whirlwind of events. But anyone who's a father or a mother who's given birth to a child, or a husband participated in that process, it's not that you don't get sleep because of the whirlwind of events. That's just crazy. You don't get sleep because you got a crying baby that's up in the middle of the night. I mean, there's a reality to this. And she, being the youngest of the siblings of the family, she wasn't in a position where she helped raise the children. I don't think she has anything to do with children. I don't know exactly what her condition is, but this is a person who appears to not feel any empathy. I just don't believe a word that she says. She could talk all day long about the fact that she felt discrimination and so on, but this is not somebody that was being manipulated. This is a manipulator. And as such, she never gave up control of herself, and she this is part of how she conned Harry. I don't feel sorry for Harry, because I don't think that he's really a good person either. But at the same time, I mean, how did she catch him? How did she manipulate it? How did she pull this off? My understanding is that she not only dressed like his mother, but far, 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 far more important, she wore the same perfume scent.
And then played like she knew nothing about the royal family when she clearly did. She was proven to have raised around it.
She lies.
But I mean, specifically just the fact that it's like her own father hasn't seen the alleged grandkids, and he's suffering from a stroke. She's disowned her whole family. It's just pretty disgusting to me, all because he allegedly wanted to sell some photos to help pay for things as all hell broke loose when these two met. And meanwhile, she's still parading about how hard it was for her with the paparazzi. There's just a weird irony and sick truth to it all that she just cannot face or admit to, which is you're the last person who should be talking about supporting parents. Do you agree?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said she doesn't feel empathy, because who could do that to a man that you would love? Who would do that to a father who put himself out so much so that she could succeed the way that she did? I mean, he put her in a good private school. He won some money in a lottery, so he was in a position where he could just spend and lavish on her, and he did. This isn't somebody who grew up with wanting. I mean, she tells a story about how she put herself through school, other things that, you can look at so many things about her where she doesn't tell the truth. It's the same as the things she said about Meghan Markle. I mean, our sister Samantha Markle. Again, if it were all true, it'd be one thing, but it's not. And this is
and she hides truth too, because I'm still I understand where her mom went when her dad was raising her, and her mom was nowhere around. And again, I don't want to be here to judge it, but she's the person who's judging her father so harshly, but somehow the mother gets a pass. Meanwhile, they're selling to the tabloids and Netflix and everything else, but so they're allowed to do it, but her dad, who's confused, isn't. And then it's looked like actually her dad was taken advantage of by that paparazzi guy. It's just a mess. So again, want more and more of this stuff showing that, yeah, she puts this stuff out there without any empathy or care in the world. And it does have real life ramifications, which it's done to Samantha, and why it's so imperative that this appeal go through. And hopefully we actually get these judges to take this more seriously. Final thoughts on this? Anything else you want to say to the crowd out there that are rooting for this?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, I said at the beginning, I told everyone that we are going to appeal, and the time finally came to file the initial brief in the appeal. The appeal was initially filed within 30 days of the final judgment. So it's here and it's on its way, and I think we have a pretty good shot at getting this thing reversed and getting it back where it belongs. So I'm really looking forward to redressing these harms, because remember, the person who she hurt here so much, her sister, and it's not that she hurt. This is one of the most ironic things about this. This is one of the most ironic things anywhere ever, is you have a person who now is on a campaign to make sure that people aren't hurt from nasty things being said on the internet, especially children. But look at who she is. She's got this Sussex squad, which is the whole purpose of it is to destroy people. And it was implemented by her and with her, with her blessings, let's say, against her sister, Samantha. Who is Samantha? She's this lovely person who suffers from multiple sclerosis. She's in a wheelchair, and she lost her livelihood because of the things that Meghan Markle did. So this isn't just a thing. I don't like what my sister said, so we're bringing a lawsuit here. We're we're redressing a real serious wrong that was done. It's not somebody's prerogative when they've got their ability to say information while they're on a world stage, and then to lie about somebody and to demean somebody and to destroy somebody. That's not her prerogative. And if somebody does that, they need to be able to answer for it. And that's what this is all about.
Well said, sir. Please make sure you keep subscribed here. We will keep you updated on this case and everything else coming out of it. You can hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, smash that like button as well. Leave your comments, what you think. Peter, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. We got your back, and let us know what else we can do to help get the word out there and make sure justice is served. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Palace.
Thank you, Andy.